Here are the pieces you'll need for the tailor joggers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the front pieces. If you want to learn how to do this moto patch, you can see video 2. And if not, you can just cut regular fabric. And then we've got the pockets, the cuffs, and the back pieces, and the waistband, and elastic, which isn't shown here. So to start out, we're going to take the number 2 front pieces right sides together and sew this curve. Now we're going to open that piece and lay it right sides up, and then take the pocket and put it right sides together with the front 2 pieces. And then you can line up the top with the waistband or use the notch from the pattern. Then we're going to line the pockets up with those side strips. And what we're going to do is, I like to lay them out how it's shown to make sure that it's right. So I have one on each side. And then I take the pocket piece and make sure that it's right sides together with it. And then you can use the notch, or sometimes I like to just line it up with the other side to make sure that it's the same, that we've got the same distance, so that when we sew it together it's the same. And then I clip that, and then bring the other piece over, and then clip that on. And then we're just going to sew those 4 little seams. Just sew the pockets right on there. Now we're going to flip that front piece right sides out, and then take the other pocket piece and line it up right sides together. This is a little weird, but you're going to be just lining everything up right sides together. I like to do it right at the ends of the seams first, and then just kind of clip it along all the way. So we're going to sew those 2 top curves, and then we're going to sew the side seam and the bottom of the pockets in one continuous stitch. And then you can top stitch it if you like. It's a tiny bit tricky because you kind of have to go through the pockets since they're continuous, but I really like the finished look of it, but it's totally optional. Now lay out all of your front pieces like this. Make sure that it looks correct, that all of the pieces are facing the way that they're supposed to face. And then we're going to take them right sides together, sew, and then again top stitch if you want. Take the back piece and line the side up with the front side, and then make sure that if you did the moto patch, that it's all pressed down when you sew. I like to start from the top to the bottom, that way it's easier to make sure that the moto goes down, and then do this on both sides of the pants and top stitch it if you want. Next, take the back pieces right sides together and sew the curve just like we did with the front. Now I'm lining up the inseam of the pants and sewing that. Make sure that the moto patch is going the right direction. Next, we're going to take the waistband and cuffs, fold them right sides together, and then sew the sides. Now take your cuff and flip it right sides out like this, and then slip it inside the leg, and we're going to sew that little circle, and we're going to do this on both sides. Now take the waistband and fold it out I like to press it because it makes it easier for me. And slip it inside the pants and pin in quarters. And then we're going to sew it on, but leave a 1 to 1.5 inch gap so that we can feed the elastic through. One thing you want to make sure of is that you sew the pocket into the waistband as you sew it on. Feed your elastic through, and when you get to the end, you're going to pull it out and put the ends together and then do a zigzag stitch. Double check to make sure that the elastic didn't get twisted as you were feeding it through. Now pull the elastic back inside the pants and stretch it around evenly to make sure that it's gathered evenly around the waistband and not flat on one side and bunched on another side. Once the waistband looks good, sew up that hole, and then you can top stitch if you'd like. I like to top stitch because it helps the band not get flipped around during washing or wearing, but you don't have to do this. I just like to do it. If you are going to top stitch, make sure that you stretch it until it looks flat. Don't overstretch it. You don't want to stretch it too much, but just enough so that the fabric around the waistband isn't bunched. You just want it to be flat as you go. I didn't do buttonholes this time because with knits, sometimes I'm lazy and I like to just cut a little hole since they don't fray. And they will get a little worn out over time, but for my kids, it just doesn't matter that much to me.